Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mod Golf YouTube channel. I'm Colin Weston, your host, and today my guest is Brian Esposito, who is the founder and CEO of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises. And I had the pleasure of just finishing up a podcast episode with Brian, talked about all kinds of awesome stuff. The eclectic, I guess that's a good way, Brian, to describe it. The eclectic
Ooh, good word.
mix of companies and sectors and inspirations that get you out of bed in the morning. That we'll talk about a little bit in the morning, or a little bit in a moment. Not the morning. I'm still in morning time here. You're already on a Scotch here in the afternoon here in New Jersey where you are. There it is.
Harlem Standard Scotch,
There we
of
go.
course. And this was full when we first started,
I was
so
going
we're
to
gonna
say,
have
I
to
know, because
see.
I was stressing you out during our
It was
our
very
podcast. I was
stressful.
asking you all the tough questions, all the gotcha questions
You
there,
put
and
me on spot. Only me. You chose me
I
every
did.
time, and you just
Yeah,
put me
usually
on
I'm a
spot.
softball question type of guy, but I just been grinding you, man.
Nah.
It's been one of those days. So we're gonna grind you in some different areas.
All
Hold on,
right.
that just didn't sound right, did it?
No, I
But
don't know what kind of show
while
you
we
got
get
me
there,
on, but
didn't take that back
I
there.
don't think I agreed to this type of show.
Yeah,
So
it's
we're
we're
gonna.
not going to turn this into one of these not safe for work, no kids may watch this video type thing here. I'll try to bring it back to make it more family friendly here. So why don't we start off, Brian? Why don't you let our viewers know here all the good things that you're actually doing with Esposito Intellectual Enterprises?
Absolutely. So thank you again. It's a pleasure to speak with you for a second time today on this great show. Brian J. Esposito, CEO and founder of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises. Over the last 20 years of my work, I built a holding company. It's wholly owned by me at the top level. Underneath that, there's well over 95 companies in my holdings that accumulates over 200 joint ventures around the world and proudly operating in 25 plus different industries and look at it like a giant arsenal of IP, technology, solutions, and services and resources. All these companies run by exceptional management, and then that's supported and surrounded by best in breed accounting, legal compliance, regulatory. We even have a private security division that protects a lot of our key IP and key personnel. And then that is supported by our investment banking partners, private banking partners, and even strategic private capital partners. And what I love to do over the last 5 years that really is very rewarding for me and how we got to meet Colin was startups, even at the Fortune 500 companies. They bring me onto their teams if they want to work with me, and I'm there to help support those founders and equity holders, boost their balance sheets, get them to learn how to make money and create revenues. If you want to be in business, you got to make money. If you want to stay in business, you got to be profitable. My job is to take what I've built and we look at it like peanut butter and jelly. What am I holding that these companies can utilize and have access to make them more valuable, open up new markets, create new opportunities, and get them generating the most profitable earnings they possibly can? I'm not the unicorn guy. Do not call me if you want to build a unicorn. I build businesses that create earnings and that are properly valued off of a multiplier of their positive earnings. And that's my story. Been through hell and back 15 times, and excited to really take what I've built and what I've learned and work with great companies and help them succeed.
Nice, nice. And the way you've said that, there's certain aspects that may not be so glamorous and sexy for startups and entrepreneurs and founders. That notion of, yeah, create something that actually makes money. That's a sustainable business. We see shows out there like Shark Tank, and the public gets this kind of this romantic or even skewed vision of what entrepreneurship really is, and it's really about hustling around and raising money. Whereas think you can subscribe to this, that the best investors you can possibly have are someone called your customers.
What? That was, I don't know. You started speaking Vancouverish on me. I don't know
What a
what you.
concept here. What I
Yeah,
know, it's crazy talk to build a sustainable business. And we talked earlier about sustainability of something like Live Golf and what they're doing. So we won't talk too much about that. But I'm going to tap into another area of sport here, even though we do talk about mostly golf here on the Mod Golf podcast, since it's in our name. But I know growing up that you loved baseball, that you played at an elite level. Maybe you had aspirations of maybe putting on a pro uniform at one time. So
I still
where
have it
did
in
you
my
see
closet.
the
I play dress up every Halloween and pretend I'm a baseball player. So
There
it's
we go. There we
something
go.
I
And
miss.
what is your team, Brian? Who do you love?
Oh, I was always a Cubs fan until they won, and people think I joined a bandwagon. But I'm from New Jersey, so born to be a Yankee fan. But some of you Yankee fans make it hard to be a Yankee fan. So, but
Right.
I'll never be a Mets fan, even though Daniel Vogelbach's a good friend. He's their DH. He's part of our EV Hotel company. So I have to sort of, yay, Daniel, but not a Mets fan. Cubs fan and a Bears fan. So that's for some reason I'm really pulled to the Chicago market. I don't know, maybe
You
Saturday
you
Night Live
love to
has
wear
something
that
to do with it.
long suffering fan hat, do you? And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of the tribe of cheering for a team, of not only the euphoria of success. Let's say like New England Patriots fans had for so many years with the Tom Brady era,
Mhm.
uh, but also the stories that are around those heart wrenching defeats and those agonizing, painful moments.
Oh yes,
So I want to stick with baseball because you do love baseball, and we're talking
I
about
do.
innovation and you in the sports space and what you're doing, along with all the other sectors that, especially hospitality, that you're working with companies to build community and engagement and value around that. Baseball's been innovating with time clocks for the pitch count to get the game down and some other rules. Besides that, an innovation with the overlay of augmented reality. Well, I'm not going to say anything more. Where do you see what excites you
Go.
in
I want to listen to
baseball
you. I
to
like where you're
build
going with
community there?
this.
Where do you what gets you excited with baseball, and then perhaps how golf could also learn from what baseball is doing?
Yeah. So, to touch on your first question, was trained to be a professional baseball player. I practice every day, 365. Marty Sobel was my personal type of coach and trainer, history in the MLBs. So it was my favorite thing in the world. That's what I did. I trained to be a ball player. And the dedication, the work ethic, the wins, the losses, being out on the field, making sure the right people in the right position. So had a full ride to go play at St. Joe's, and there was a moment where I woke up one day and said, "I'm going to just go and be an entrepreneur." And I've done amazing things. I've met incredible people. I love my journey. I get to sit and talk with you, so I always look back and say everything that I did or didn't do led me to this moment right now. But I do regret giving that up because I know my passion and my heart would have loved to be in even playing single baseball somewhere making a few $100 a month, but doing something that I loved. So really daily I think about those moments. Usually the Bruce Springsteen song Glory Days is playing behind me when I'm thinking about those moments. But then, throughout my career, I utilized everything I've learned from sport, especially baseball, and applied a lot of those skills and strategies to business. And um, just because you lost a deal or you missed a deal doesn't mean you don't come back the next day and win and make a bigger deal. So you start to understand the losses are part of the journey. It's making sure you have the right support and resources and training behind you, and you make sure you articulate the deal, just like your swing's got to be perfect and your pitch got to be perfect. So, as an entrepreneur that has a sport history, no matter what sport you play, you can bring along some of those attributes and things that you loved about the sport into the next chapter of your life. Long story long, rolls into the launch of what we talked about before is virtual stacks. And what we've built there is something key to people like me that may have given up on something that they love, whatever their passion or skill is. We've built the ability for people to buy virtual trading cards of people. So whether you want to stick with baseball, you think you can be the next Derek Jeter one day and you're a 16-year-old kid somewhere, you can go on stacks.app, issue your virtual stacks, start to promote your virtual cards to your local fan base, your family, your friends, your classmates. Maybe you don't have enough money for a mitt, but you're able to sell a few $100s in virtual stacks. You go and get a new mitt. Maybe you need batting lessons. Maybe you need new cleats. So this vehicle, think of it like a person going public and a GoFundMe in the same financial vehicle, where you can start to bring people along on your journey, convert your social media likes and clicks into dollars, and extend one more day, even if it's just one more day, not hanging up your cleats. The moment of continuing to go after your dreams is something so imperative, and having a financial vehicle like this behind you is crucial to that. And what we've built is 5 years of work, 23 million of private strategic capital that came in, no VCs, no investment banking, and we've got the full support of people like Drew Brees, NFL Super Bowl winner Patrick Mahomes is one of our ambassadors, Cam Jordan, Von Miller, business entrepreneur David Meltzer, also very famous in the sports world. And we just announced Luke Bryan as our music ambassador. So this iconic platform is supported by exceptional people in their own careers that say this is the next game-changing vehicle to help people to continue to finance and go after their dreams and visions. So having all that and being the next Wayne Gretzky, and I'm dating myself, so I'm talking about people that retired 15 years ago, but or you want to be the next Billy Joel, or you want to be the next Taylor Swift, you want to be the next Tiger Woods. Here's a vehicle that's registered and regulated, and it's legal in over 100 countries and jurisdictions around the world, where you can bring in some capital to continue to do what you love. And who doesn't want to try that? Who doesn't want to utilize that? It's and I believe people will perform better if they lessen the financial burden of their rent, their mortgage, their car payment. They don't have enough money for their school books or their tuition. Here's another way to help you really further your dreams and enhance your dreams. We our NIL partners, Burst Sports. In December, we did a very small controlled launch for American football NIL players. We brought in 20 of them onto this Virtual Stacks platform through Burst. We picked players that didn't have a huge social media following. We wanted to show that this is applicable for people from all over the world, no matter what their following is. And it brought in nearly $40,000. It was a week-long run of auctions for these virtual trading cards for these players. One of the players brought in close to $8,000. This is game-changing and life-changing money for these players that they never would have had access to, and they're doing what they do naturally anyway. They're playing a sport that they love, and they're posting on social media. So by promoting it and pushing it into a way where people can actually now be part of that, and the pennies on the dollar that people are paying for these virtual trading cards, if that player gets drafted to, now they get drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs 2 years from now, or they get drafted to the Giants 4 years from now, those pricing on those trading cards are now dollars or tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars. So you're actually backing talent, scouting talent, and being financially rewarded by knowing who's going to make it and who's not.
I love the democratization of this, and makes me think of virtual stacks needed to be around when you were in your teens, because that sounds like the only thing that was holding you back from being the three-time All-Star middle infielder for the Chicago Cubs.
How did you know second base? How did you know?
You know what? I can't see how big you are through my camera
7
here,
foot.
but
I'm a tall drink of water, Colin.
You're built for a middle infielder here, and that's a compliment. That's a compliment. I mean, you got some range and you got some speed. I'm just assuming that you're quick on your feet.
You're absolutely right. It was speed. That's what kept me in the game. My speed
there we go.
Was unmatched.
There we go.
Hey, another company to real quick to look at, Smart Pitch, one of my other holdings, a great app. It gives it's not radar anymore. Smart Pitch uses your mobile phone and your mobile device, and you can use it for things like baseball, cricket, golf, any ball sport, and get to document your velocity and your speed of what you're doing. So if you're a pitcher for baseball, for example, or even your bat swing, you can utilize the Smart Pitch app and then not have to spend $1,500 for an actual radar gun. We've utilized a lot of the technologies in our IP and patents and put that into a smartphone app device that, again, can give these players tools and resources to continue to perfect their skill and enhance their career.
I'll definitely include the link to Smart Pitch down below here in the notes here, so people can access that. So, hey, one more question I wanted to finish up, and it expands on one of the things we talked about earlier on the audio podcast with what you're doing in the hospitality space. So talk about the company there. That's quite exciting, I think, what they're doing. And I would like you then to tether that to the potential with the 15,000 golf course owners across the US and the potential there for, because their hospitality, banquets, revenue there, that actually outstrips what they can make from their tee times. So that's the real possibility. So we do have a lot of people within the golf industry that watch and listen to the Mod Golf podcast. So tell us about that example to give them an idea of how then they can take those learnings and apply that to their business model as a golf course owner and operator.
Absolutely. And you're referring to the EV Hotel that we spoke about and the crypto hotel hospitality?
Well, there's that one, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name. What was the name of the company that you've got
was it Devour and how we met?
Yes, it was that one.
So Devour, part of the Hype program, I got to meet Colin through one of my previous discussions there. I'm a Hype lead mentor. It's one of the world's largest sports accelerators for startup companies to be part of. So Devour is the future of Web3 dining. What they're doing is taking the community and the excitement and the engagement and play to earn in Web3 and applying it into F&B brands, food and restaurant, or independent mom and pop chains or non-chains, where you can now take those communities that expect the Web3 component and apply it to food delivery. So we all know the DoorDashes, the Uber Eats, the Grubhub, and Postmates of the world, Instacarts of the world. None of them are participating at all right now in a Web3 environment where you can start to gamify and reward and entice Web3 minded communities, and they're massive. I think we got north of 300 million crypto digital wallet holders around the world. It's still in its infancy, but hell, 300 million people is a hell of a lot of people. And if you can give them excitement and engagement and rewards in an environment that they're used to doing and applying it to traditional Web 2 or Web 2.5 companies, such as a DoorDash, for example. Now with Devour, you go on devourgo.io, you connect your digital wallet. It's very seamless, very easy to use. They've really thought this well out. Shelly Rappel and Chad Horner's co-founders, great leaders, incredible visionaries, understand the industry. They come from the industry. That's what's really exciting too. A lot of disruptors come into an industry they know nothing about and they try to disrupt it, but it's hard to do that. You need to understand where all the bodies are buried. You need to understand how these systems work, what can be done, what can't be done. And the fact that they know all this is great because they know what the industry needs and they have the relationships to bring it forward with adapt or die and evolving. So again, you go and order your favorite food. We just launched in New York City, so we have a lot of great restaurant companies that are up there, a lot of great NFT communities that get rewards for being part of the Devour Go program. And then there's the DPay token that is the utility behind powering all this. So you earn the DPay token, you can pay with it. You can support restaurants by buying the Devour collector NFTs. So you have all of the power of really supporting the industry, enhancing the industry, and giving these restaurant brands the ability to continue to succeed. So many of them got killed and clobbered during COVID because they weren't allowed to open up. Now you start to include delivery component, which helped a lot of them, and that's still a lot of their major income is the delivery component. It also eats a lot of their profits. So what else can be added on top of that to really give these restaurateurs another vehicle and a technology vehicle to really help enhance their offering and connect to Web3 community? So that's Devour. It's, again, the future of Web3 dining. Flawless execution for New York City rollout, and then other cities will be rolling out shortly based upon the success of the region we opened up.
Oh, this is interesting stuff. And I know in the golf industry, now that I've been in it about 10 years, there's great opportunity for innovation. And one of the reasons why is the golf industry has been such a laggard in so many spaces. And I know that even on the operations side, that still exists. So I see some real potential, perhaps starting with some of the not just the one-off golf clubs and owners, but perhaps some of these bigger companies like Troon that own 150 golf courses across the country. All of a sudden, if you can connect and incentivize people to start playing at different courses with rewards and delighters, like you said, I'm just kind of pulling this out of the air, but it seems to me that might be the place for the golf industry to start with some of the bigger players to.
Well, I love where you're going with that, because even a lot of these clubs have dining memberships only. How many people just have a dining membership at a fancy golf club or a semi-fancy golf club? So in order to protect the F&B side of the club, it's a revenue generator for that facility. It's something that your members are required to pay X amount or go X amount of times the year. So adding this another level of it is something just like Live is doing. It's disrupting the entire golf industry with their focus. What you're touching on is brilliant for the F&B or the food membership or the dining component of these golf courses. Anything to drive more earnings into that facility to help maintain the grounds, to help bring on extra people, make sure they got enough caddies on hand. Anything to increase their economics should be invited and warranted. And like things like Top Golf and Live and all the excitement around youth in this sport, majority of them understand Web3. They have a crypto wallet. They expect some sort of a Web3 NFT style engagement or reward. So exactly what you're touching on is brilliant. And Devour would be that conduit to help these traditional clubs that may not know how to evolve, we have the mechanism to help them evolve without disrupting their current business models.
Well, if there's anybody from Troon that's watching today, I think you should connect with Brian here and learn more about Devour. I think there could be some synergy there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, why don't we finish up there, Brian? But before we go, being an entrepreneur for over 20 years, the ups and the downs,
Yeah.
obviously, it's as an entrepreneur, it is not a straight line.
No, sir.
And you connect and mentor and advise, just like you do with Hype and other places, with entrepreneurs. What advice can you give? I know it's kind of a big open question, but maybe a couple of things that you've learned over the years as entrepreneurs, as far as cautionary tales,
Yeah.
nuggets of wisdom that you can provide for anybody out there that's considering entrepreneurship. Maybe perhaps they have an idea, don't know where to start. Yeah, just perhaps provide some insights of the ups and the downs of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I'll throw anybody can sit and brag about the ups. So I'm gonna throw out a few statements I like to say, and it's probably just justification and rationalization, so I don't go insane. But it is the heart of the journey, the more rewarding the outcome. I can speak truthfully on that. And like anything in the world, the more you get beat up, the more you experience, the more seasoned you are, the more well-rounded you are, the more capable you are to solve problems. You know, a lot of the times I've built my career and the rooms I got invited into is because people always call me to help them solve their problems. The way that I think, the way that I strategize, and maybe some of the relationships that I have, I'm very good at that. And that was fun for a long piece of my career. Now it's more fun as preventing problems from happening in the first place. And that's part of the pivot of going to the next level or evolving. And entrepreneurs need to know you're not alone. That's pivotal. A lot of the times we feel isolated and alone. Loved ones don't understand what you're doing. Your inner circle basically usually abandons you. But the fun part is when you do succeed, they come back and they cheer you on and they pat you on the back and they say they knew you were going to make it all along. But they usually abandon you because entrepreneurs are wired in a very different way. And you can't explain that to somebody. I feel it's in your DNA. Some people, it comes out in their teens. For me, it came out 14. I was out building businesses. Other people, it comes out a lot later, and it's really about the confidence or the jolt that they need to push them. That's the difference. It's either in you and you come out at birth like it, or there's something that happens that make you say, F this, I'm going after it. So you can't rely on your traditional inner circle. And I really think it's important to utilize things like LinkedIn. You find people that you connect with, or people that you admire, or you have a fondness of the way they speak or the way they articulate or their values. That's your support system. You're not going to get it from your home typically. So you need to understand that. And that's okay. You shouldn't be angry at people that don't get you. That's just not wired the way that you are. But when you do make it, like I said, they're going to be your biggest fans, and they're going to love that you made it. So once you know you're not alone, that's key. And it doesn't matter if you have more money, more problems. There's a famous song about it. So it's billionaires have issues, people that have no money have issues. That's the reality. So don't think that making more money makes your life any easier. And the next thing that was fairly crucial for me to really sleep better and have a peacefulness about me is I'm Italian and Sicilian. My DNA wants to kind of shake people sometimes. So what I needed to learn was I can't give other people my mindset. That was so important for me to learn. Nobody in the world is going to think exactly like me, how I am, when I am. They weren't raised in my household. They didn't go through all my life experiences. So for me to get upset when somebody does me wrong, or somebody hurts me, or somebody says something that offends me, that's on them. I can't sit and waste time. Why did they say that? I would never do that. That's not nice. You got to say a prayer for them, and you got to wish them well, and you have to thank them for showing you a vulnerability that you have, because anybody that affects you negatively, that means you need to internally work on what allowed that to happen. It's not the other person's fault. What did you do to put yourself in that situation, and what didn't you do that allowed that situation to come to fruition? Once you can start to do all these things, and it's maturity, it's evolving, it's growing, it's it's some people get it early on and some people never get it. I know a lot of people that passed away that just they never got it. They just never understood life. They were bitter, they got angry, they were upset with people all the time. And life can be wonderful if you surround yourself with great, positive, good people. And the ones that hurt you, you need to get them out of your life like a cancer and cut them out as quickly as possible. And going forward, you need to look for people that resembled that person that hurt you and make sure that doesn't happen again. That's the whole part of having a great life and being calm and being surrounded by such positivity and light is eliminating problems. And people often ask me, how do I manage in all these 95 different companies and all these great partnerships? How do you do it? Well, I'm not spending most of my day fighting with people or upset about people or arguing with people, and I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram. So if you take that out of your life, think about it. It's probably a majority of most people's lives is what they're doing on a negative aspect, because negativity is strong. But if you can find a way to counteract that, block that from happening in the first place, you can achieve amazing things, and you can surround yourself with great people that believe in you.
Love that. Love that response. And well, as they say, one of the cliches in entrepreneurship is if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you got to go together. And that power of connectivity. And I know you have that give first mentality, what you're doing here today with us to kind of share your experience and what you've done with Hype, where I first met you. You're so gracious in that space. So gratitude and empathy, surrounding yourself with positive people, everything you just mentioned there. That's something that I do my best to embrace and convey also. So with that, let's leave this on a happy note. This has
Let's
been
do it.
great. So Brian Esposito, thank you again for joining me today on the Mod Golf YouTube channel. As I mentioned, down below, I'll include the link for our podcast episode where we talk about so much more. And I grind Brian, which drove him to drink here today, on his views and opinions on Live Golf and where that's going. So if you want to hear that, tune in and listen below. So hey, Brian, thanks again for joining me today on the Mod Golf YouTube channel.
Thank you, Colin. Stay well.